What's up, everybody? I am back, and I'm here to talk about more 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. We've been learning about the different character classes. Yesterday we did the Sorcerer, and like I mentioned, this hair looks crazy. Like I mentioned before, I'm playing the Sorcerer. I like the Sorcerer. They're a cool class. They remind me of mutants a lot, especially with their power being born and kind of all the weird little circumstances around their powers and how their magic works and their flexibility. They just remind me of Dungeons & Dragons mutants. Alright, so Warlock. Let's learn about Warlock. As usual, I'm going to read all the flavor out of the player's handbook, all the flavor in the lore. Then when I get to the metagaming stuff, the actual numbers, what you get, I'm just going to go over them super quick. And then when it's things like spells and stuff like that, I'm not going to go through the spell book. Okay, Warlock. With the pseudo-dragon curled up on his shoulders, a young elf in golden robes smiles warmly, weaving a magical charm into his honey-eyed words and bending the palace sentinel to his will. As flame springs to life in her hands, a wizened human whispers the secret name of her demonic patron, infusing her spell with fiendish magic. Shifting his gaze between a battered tomb and the odd alignment of the stars overhead, a wild-eyed tiefling chants the mystical ritual that will open a doorway to a distant world. Warlocks are seekers of the knowledge that lies hidden in the fabric of the multiverse. Through pacts made with mysterious beings of supernatural power, warlocks unlock magical effects, both subtle and spectacular, drawing on the ancient knowledge of beings such as fey nobles, demons, devils, hags, and alien entities from the far realm. Warlocks piece together arcane secrets to bolster their own power. Sworn and beholden. A warlock is defined by a pact with an otherworldly being. Sometimes a relationship between warlock and patron is like that of cleric and a deity, though the beings that serve as patrons for warlocks are not gods. A warlock might lead a cult dedicated to a demon prince, an archdevil, or an utterly alien entity, beings not typically served by clerics. More often, though, the arrangement is similar to that between a master and an apprentice. The warlock learns and grows in power at the cost of occasional service performances on the patron's behalf. The magic bestowed on a warlock ranges from minor but lasting alterations to the warlock's beings, such as the ability to see in darkness or to read any language, to access to powerful spells. Unlike bookish wizards, warlocks supplement their magic with some faculty at hand-to-hand combat. They are comfortable in light armor and know how to use simple weapons. Delvers into secrets. Warlocks are driven by an insatiable need for knowledge and power, which compels them into their pacts and shapes their lives. This thirst drives warlocks into their pacts and shapes their later careers as well. Stories of warlocks binding themselves to fiends are widely known, but many warlocks serve patrons that are not fiendish. Sometimes as a traveler in the wilds comes to a strangely beautiful tower, meets its fey lord or lady, and stumbles into a pact without being fully aware of it. And sometimes while poring over tombs of forbidden lore, a brilliant but crashed student's mind is open to realities beyond the material world and to the alien beings that dwell in the outer world. Once a pact is made, a warlock's thirst for knowledge and power can't be slaked with more mere study and research. No one makes a pact with such a mighty patron if he or she doesn't intend to use the power thus gained. Rather, the vast majority of warlocks spend their days in active pursuit of their goals, which typically means some kind of adventuring. Furthermore, the demands of their patrons drive warlocks toward adventure. Creating a warlock. As you make your warlock character, spend some time thinking about your patron and the obligations that your pact imposes upon you. What led you to make the pact, and how did you make contact with your patron? Were you seduced into summoning a devil? Or did you seek out the ritual that would allow you to make contact with an alien elder god? Did you search for your patron, or did your patron find and choose you? Did you chaffer under the obligations of your pact, or serve joyfully in anticipation for the rewards promised to you? Work with your DM to determine how big a part of your pact will play in your character's adventuring career. Your patron's demands might drive you into adventures, or they might consist entirely of small favors you can do between adventures. What kind of relationship do you have with your patron? Is it friendly, antagonistic, uneasy, or romantic? How important does your patron consider you to be? What part do you play in your patron's plans? Do you know how to serve? Do you know other servants of your Patreon? How does your Patreon communicate with you? If you have a familiar, it might occasionally speak with your patron's voice. Some warlocks find messages from their patrons etched on trees, mingled among tea leaves, and adrift in the clouds, messages that only the warlock can see. Other warlocks converse with their patrons in dreams, or waking visions, or deal with intermediaries. Okay, so that's all the little lore there. So you're going to get dice a little better than a mage. You're going to get a D8 hit dice. You're going to do usual con stuff. You're going to be proficient in light armors, unlike a mage. You're going to be proficient in simple weapons, straight up. So that's good. Your skills. Your skills are going to consist of, you're going to get to choose 2 from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, or Religion. Your equipment, I'm not going to go over that, doesn't matter. Otherworldly Patron. At first level, you have struck a bargain with an otherworldly being of your choice, the Archfey, the Fiend, or the Great Old One, each of which is detailed at the end of the class description. You must choose. So, you're going to get a bunch of pack spells based on which Patron you pick. All Warlocks learn 2 cantrips at level 1. The Warlock table shows they also have 2 spells, but only 1 spell slot. Eldritch Invocation at level 2. Oh, and your study of occult lore, you have unearthed Eldritch Invocation fragments of forbidden knowledge that imbue with the ability, with an abiding magical ability. At the 2nd level, you gain 2 Eldritch Invocations of your choice. Your invocation options are detailed in the class description. So you get these 2 invocations. At level 3, you're going to get a Pact Boon. At level 4, or not level 4, at level 3, you're going to get a Pact Boon. You're also going to get a Pact Blade, which is like a weapon you summon and bind and you stash away. You'll get a Pact Tomb. Your patron gives you a grimoire called a Book of Shadows. When you gain this feature, choose 3 cantrips from any spell list. While the book is on your person, you can cast those cantrips at will. They don't count against the number of cantrips you know. That's cool. That's actually really fucking cool. I didn't know that. If you lose your Book of Shadows, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. The ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest and destroys the previous book. The book turns to ashes when you die. That's dope. Okay, so we're not going to worry about the late level stuff. What we are going to go into is we'll read the flavor of the 3 little gods. So the Archfey. Your patron is Lord or Lady of the Fae, a creature of legend who holds secrets that were forgotten before the mortal races were born. The being's motivations are inscrutable and sometimes whimsical, and might involve a striving for a greater magical power or the settling of age-old grudges. Beings of this sort include the Prince of Frost, the Queen of Air and Darkness, ruler of the Glooming Court, Titania of the Summer Court, her consort Oberon, the Green Lord, Hirisam, the Prince of Fools, and Ancient Hags. The Archfey, so you're going to get, this is going to be your elven type shit. You're going to get Fairy Fire, you're going to get a Sleep Spell. You get a Fey Presence that your patron has the ability to project the beguiling and fearsome press that you can project like you were a Fey, like a Fey, like not like just a Fey force to be reckoned with. You confront. You'll get some other stuff at higher levels I'm not going to worry about. The other pack, the Fiend. So the other one, like I said, was your Fey. The Fey is going to be like your elf shit. The Fiend is your straight up devil shit. You want to do some Diablo like Inferno shit. The Fiend. You have made a pact with the Fiend from the lower planes of existence, a being whose aims are evil, even if you strive against those aims. Such beings desire the corruption or destruction of all things ultimately, including you. Fiends powerful enough to forge a pact include demon lords such as Demogorgon, Orcus, Frazuberlu, and Baphomet. Archdevils such as Asmodeus, Despater, Mephistopheles, and Belial, pit fiends and balors that are especially mighty, and ultra reloths and other lords of Yugoloths. So expanding list. Okay, so like I said, you're gonna get burning hands and command as your spells. So you get to shoot fire from your hands that does a cone effect that AoEs people, and you get command. So you're literally, you will listen, casting this. Pretty much, it's an intimidation spell, for lack of better terms, that you order people what to do. So this is cool if you want to be that kind of warlock. They're all fun. I think the one that needs the most role playing, but also can be one of the more exciting ones to really be original with and mine with, is the... Oh, let's see real quick over the dark ones. When I read the 2 spells, starting level 1, when you reduce a host... Oh, this is pretty dope, especially being a caster type with being squishier. You get Dark One's Presence at level, or Dark One's Blessings at level 1. Starting at the first level, when you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier plus your warlock level. Your charisma modifier is probably going to be a 3, and your warlock level is going to be a 1. So you're going to get a 4 bubble for just taking something out, for finishing off something. If you're dealing with minions and lower stuff, that can be real fun. At level 6, you get to fuck with the roll. You get to just make your own luck. You get to have you can use a feature to add a D10 to your roll, and you just kind of set that aside. You'll get some cool stuff. At level 10, you can pick a damage type that you choose a damage type when you finish. You gain resistance to that type until you choose a different one. So fiendish resilience. So every time you rest at level 10, you can be like, tomorrow we're going to fight frost giants. Okay, well, before I rest, I want to change my resilience. You gain resilience to the damage type until you choose a different one with this feature. Damage from the magical weapons or silver weapons ignores this resistance. So that's cool that you get to be fucking, you can pick a resistance and adapt it. Hurl Through Hell sounds cool. I don't normally read the later game stuff for these guys, but I'm going to read that. Starting at level 14, when you hit a creature with an attack, you can use this feature to instantly transport the target through to the lower planes. This creature disappears and hurls through a nightmare landscape. At the end of your next turn, the target returns to the space it's previously occupied for the nearest unoccupied space. If the target is not a fiend, it takes 10d10 psychic damage as it reels from the horrific experience. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So that move, the best way I could describe this Warlock Fiend, if any of you guys like to make comic characters, which is fun, this is making Magic from the X-Men. And that's Magic if she was a Marvel vs. Capcom character, getting all 3 of her meters and then fucking just going, boom, I'm going to spend this fucking daily, and you're going to take D10 and have a traumatic psychic experience if you're not a fiend. All right, so the one that I said that I think is the hardest of the Warlock builds to play, role-playing wise, is the Great Old One. I think that a lot of people will try to supplement Lovecraft and Cthulhu with that, but I think you could also get into some like weird Joe Rogan DMT spirit type things and stuff. Let's read the flavor for it. So, the Great Old One. Your patron is a mysterious entity whose nature is utterly foreign to the fabric of reality. It might come from the far realm, the space beyond reality, or it could be one of the elder gods known only in legends. Its motives are incomprehensible to mortals, and its knowledge so immense and ancient that even the greatest libraries pale in comparison to the vast secrets it holds. The Great Old One might be unaware of your existence, or entirely indifferent to you, but the secrets you have learned allow you to draw magic from it. Entities of this type include Grandar, called That Which Lurks, Tharazon, the Chained God, Dendar, the Night Serpent, Sargon, the Returner, Great Cthulhu, and other unfathomable beings. So the spells you're going to get when you pick this character, you're going to get Dissonant Whispers and Tosha's Hideous Laughter. So you're getting kind of psychic spells. You're getting these kind of mess with them spells. At level 1, you get an Awakened Mind. What the Awakened Mind does is, starting at the first level, your alien knowledge gives you the ability to touch the minds of other creatures. You can communicate telepathically with any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand your telepathic utterances, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language. You're going to get an entropic ward at level 6. You magically ward yourself against the against attack, and to turn an enemy's failed strike into a good luck for yourself. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage. That's pretty cool. There's some other effects. Thought shields start at level 10. Your thoughts can't be read by telepathy or other means unless you allow it. You also have resistance to psychic damage whenever a creature deals psychic damage to you. You can create a thrall at level 14, which is, you know, a fucking big ass, like, kind of humanoid aberration. So we mentioned earlier, you get Eldritch invocations. There's like a whole page and a half of these. I don't really want to get into them, but they're tomb features. They have levels. They have different prerequisites. Some of them include Armor of Shadows. You can cast Mage Armor on yourself at will without expending a spell slot or material components. Ascendant Step. You can use Levitate on yourself at will without expending a spell slot. These are those things that are going to go in your tomb. The Warlock's really cool. They're really adaptable. I think the Warlock is even, you know, I think the Warlock and the Sorcerer give more to players what a lot of newcomers might want from a Wizard. I think Wizard, we're going to read Wizard tomorrow, but what I want to say on Wizard as a caster is I think Wizard, Paladin, Ranger, these are very Dungeons and Dragons classes. These are staples. I think that the Ranger and the Paladin are far easier to play than the Wizard, but your parties are better for having those characters in them. You are much stronger for having those characters in there. The party I'm going to go into is going to be interesting. We have a ranger who's a gnome, who's not really your scout ranger, who's going to engage, more your stealth ranger with the arrows. They're a gnome. We have a sorcerer, that's me, with some stealth stuff and things. We have a bard. We have a warlock. And we have a druid. We don't have... I'm sorry. We have a cleric. I keep calling her a druid. We have a cleric, but she is of the nature build. It seems like almost like a druid in a sense. It reminds me a little bit of a WoW shaman to an extent too. Needless to say, we don't got that tanky character, and we don't got that outright caster. But you know what though? The warlock can supplement nicely for the arcana skills and the things and the checks that need to be made. But I think the Warlock is fun. I think that you can make a very cool, strong, psychic, weird character. Reading this and getting ideas myself, I would want to do one of all of them. The Archfiend, I'd want to make, like I say, someone like Magic. The Great Old One, I'd want to make maybe a character kind of almost like an external type mutant. Someone ancient, maybe even a Kid Omega one. Somebody who's touched this knowledge and doesn't deserve this ancient knowledge. But I think I would go with the Archfey, and I would have my Patreon be someone like the Lilith, and I would have my character, I'd take a cue from Deadpool, be in love, and be seeking this kind of death goddess that grants power, and every time I take life, I'm bestowing gifts upon her and serving her until, you know, I would want to kind of play that warlock and have my patron be my love. And I think, because I always play power-hungry characters, I think that would be far more fun, you know, and you could call on your weapon and say cheesy, cringy things, you know, like I want to bestow gifts upon my lady and different shit like that, and my bitch is about to fuck you and you start stabbing them. You know, all types of fun shit. All right, dudes. Thank you guys for listening. We got one more class tomorrow, which is the Wizard, and that's a fun one. That was my original class when I first started D&D, but like I said, as my caster, I like the Sorcerer more. The Rogue and the Assassin come pretty naturally to me too as playing them. All right, guys. I love you suckers. Take care, and thank you for listening.